What's up, y'all? Today we're talking Central Park 5 updates and a lot more on Black Hollywood Live's The Trend.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey. What? What's up, y'all?
Are you alive, Derrial?
I'm alive. It's Thursday. It's June.
Honey.
It's hot outside.
It's hot.
It's hot as hell outside.
Terry, you could be a
good
hand
way.
model.
Thanks.
That was really random.
That was really random.
No, I was just
but
acknowledging
thank you. I will receive that.
complimenting your
Hey,
investment.
I'll get that check too. All right.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? I'm Derrial Christon from Black Hollywood Live. Joining me today is Courtney Stewart,
What's up, everybody?
DJ Jesse J,
What's up?
and his Born in the '90s T-shirt.
$5, Five Below.
We got two special guests today. One is a legendary supermodel turned author. Liris Cross is with us today.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody?
And another one is a legendary person in the making, artist Princeton Perez is with us today. You like that? You like that?
Had all the
You
girls
like
screaming.
That?
I
You
know.
like that? Right. He giving me
Those girls
that
screaming.
Quincy Combs hair today, man. You give me.
You might as well call me I'll be Short Jr.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Y'all could be
Y'all-
related.
you totally
Y'all could be
could.
related.
That's
I was
so
like, look,
true.
you should have been in the DeBarge movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to become legendary, so there's my own movie.
Amen.
Yes.
I feel that. I feel
We're
that.
about that life.
So how's everybody
Singer,
doing today?
actor, blessed and
Great.
highly favored.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah,
Okay.
right?
Praise him.
I'm glad y'all are here. We got a lot of fun topics today. We're going to start off
man.
with a couple, then we're going to get into what projects you two are working on. So.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey. Well, speaking of music, Amanda Seales is trying to splash into that world. She has.
Trying, Jesse. She's been in it before.
Right.
Well,
Go on.
And you said splash.
the single is trying. It has a great beat. The single is Blank Got Me Fucked Up. It is her, as she's claiming, the black girl anthem of the summer. And, you know, in a time where I think we are praising mediocre music, it's dope.
Oh,
Wow.
ouch.
You starting early with you going in today.
I mean, here's my thing. I was a huge Amanda Seales fan. I loved her. Courtney actually put me on to her. I would listen to her
She's
podcast. And then I worked with her very intimately, and it just was a disappointment, you know, when you see people's personalities. You know, but other than that,
Okay, so because you can't just you
that's
just
all
can't
you're
throw
getting.
that.
All you're getting, signed contracts and all that. And I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
but let me try and see if I can understand this. Does this mean that she was not as nice to people as you would have expected her to be?
Yeah, it was just watching how she interacts with people and people who are trying to help her.
Okay.
And watching that energy. And now, you know, everyone sometimes has bad days and things
Sure.
like that. I understand that. But working in certain quarters with somebody, there were great days, positive opportunities and things like that. And just seeing how, as my dad would say, it's attitude adjustment hour. And yeah,
All
but
right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Shout out to her. She's hosting NBC's new show, Bring the Funny, which is huge, with Kenan Thompson, Chrissy Teigen, and Jeff Foxworthy. And yeah, she has a book coming out in July.
Yeah.
And also she's doing her podcast and she's doing her tour, Smart, Black, and Funny.
Smart,
all
Funny, and Black.
Yeah, all throughout the summer. So
Check
it
her
out.
out.
is what
Did
she's
you
getting.
guy see the HBO special?
yes.
I did.
Okay.
What'd you
I haven't
think?
seen it yet.
Okay. Anybody?
She's a great entertainer. When
She
she
is.
is on stage,
Yeah.
she is
She's
fire.
on.
She's fire.
I'm really
So,
smart.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not into the song.
No.
Did your experience with her influence your opinion about the song?
Well, but it more so not about the song, more about her commentary, because it's kind of like, well, this is what you're saying, but then this is how you're acting.
Okay. Two different things.
Interesting.
Okay.
But then and then musically, it's like, you know, I'll say the same thing about, you know, the stars like Meg the Trainer or all these artists that are coming out. It's like there's a lot of mediocrity that we're allowing to bless our radio waves, and like for me, I wasn't
You weren't blown
fully
away.
here for. I wasn't blown away by it.
Right.
But I mean, it has like a little bop to it. Like it gives me like a little old school kind of a vibe. But
It's a funny video.
the video is funny.
I was entertained by the video.
I mean, I don't think she was like trying to be all serious about it. So I think it's kind of like Weird Al Yankovic, maybe.
Oh wow.
Well, she was a part of Flowetry.
I'm like, Liris, is that a compliment? I'm trying.
So I think she like.
No, like, but you know what I mean.
feel
Like
you,
he did comedy.
mocking off of,
like
like a mocky
Yeah.
music video. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Somebody else did it after that. Who was that who did it?
Who did
Years
Lots of
later,
people. Kevin Hart had his Chocolate Thunder.
Well, I mean, who kind of made a career off of it after Weird Al Yankovic? Somebody else did it. I don't remember.
Made a career. I think he was kind of
Maybe the innovator.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but then if you think about it, the number one record in the country, the Old Town Road, like I remember seeing that on Twitter as a meme.
I mean,
It was like
that's
a
true.
video of a cowboy like dancing, and he was dancing to his own music, but he had replaced it. And Lil Nas X was like promoting it that way, like when cowboys try to dance, but then the song actually became big. So, I mean, you never know. I mean, the music industry is so fickle. You don't know. One day you don't know the record, the next day it's the biggest record in the world. So,
very true.
So, Prince, you want to work with her in the future?
I need to hear the record. I haven't heard it.
Okay. Because maybe you could hook her up. You know what I'm saying? Give her a
Maybe she
little
could
sound.
be up. It could be like a deal. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
No, I'm just waiting for Megatron 621, Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj was like banging in that Instagram picture.
It got
Her new
real
photo.
quiet. I don't feel like the whole room felt that very
I
much.
felt.
Oh,
have you seen her pictures on Instagram?
Look,
Nicki Minaj?
when you just put a word on social
Yeah,
media
she
and the world cares more about that than music that's being dropped by her counterparts.
I'd rather hear Lil' Kim.
Oh, well, you can watch. She has Girls Cruise coming up on VH1. You can check that out.
I want Kim to come out with like a great single.
That's what I'm
Like
see,
the one she
you
just
feel
dropped
me.
recently that she did the video for. I was like, no.
I know.
Doesn't it
I
sound
know.
like she's recording in a basement? Like the audio sounds off. No, I have every Lil' Kim album. I just have posters of
love
her.
Kim.
I love
But
Kim.
it just
I love
sounds like the
old school Kim.
quality. It's like she has friends, she has money. Why are they not like, girl, come record in here?
We should just let it go.
Her and Missy just need to come together and
Yes.
put out something hot because
Yeah.
Missy can bring it on the beats.
Yeah.
She needs like you can't take a bunch of time off and then come back with something that's just so.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I think the track that she released isn't a song that you like really want to dance to in the club.
Right.
She needs something like "Welcome to Brooklyn," like
Yeah.
she needs something like that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she got it. You know what I mean? She still got it. I mean, I don't know. I would love to see the
Where
fire.
is it?
I'm excited to see what this Girls Cruise is gonna do and what it is.
What is it?
It's her, Chili,
yeah.
and
Ashanti.
Maya.
it's
Maybe
Maya.
Ashanti's gonna go too. B. Simone and another female comedian. They're all gonna go to the Caribbean. It's a reality docu-series,
So it's just like a girl's trip to the Caribbean with some
Reality.
which we're gonna get
stars.
some love, and then there's gonna be at the end of it, she'll drop an album.
Okay.
So
All right, well,
here
we'll
we
see.
go.
Well,
The jump off
alrighty
here.
then. Well, while they're girl cruising in the Caribbean and doing all kinds of things, we got some black folks up on Capitol Hill trying to get these other black folks paid some money for the 400 years of slavery in this country. So it was announced.
All right, T there.
All right, nice segue.
that was like,
There
you
go.
ran with that
All
one,
right.
Courtney. All
'Cause,
right.
you guys, you have the light story, and then I have to come in with the heavy
came in
dark
with the
stuff.
fire,
So, all
right.
right, here we go.
Right.
So this week it was announced that Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is a thought leader and writer and whatnot, he also wrote the case for reparations for the Atlantic about, I think it was 4 years ago now that he wrote that. He and actor Danny Glover, who's an activist in this area, will be basically testifying before the House Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution, Civil Rights, and Civil Liberties on Wednesday, June 19th. For those of you that it's not lost on, that's Juneteenth. They're going to be up in Congress talking about why black people deserve some kind of recognition and perhaps some financial substantialness from the work that their ancestors gave to this country. They will be testifying basically House Bill 40, I think it's called, HR 40. Yes. Has been on the radar since 1989. It was initially introduced by Democratic Representative John Conyers of Michigan. He introduced it in 1989. Essentially, it was ignored forever. He eventually resigned in 2017, and Representative from Texas Ms. Sheila Jackson Lee took up the resolution and reintroduced it in 2017 or 2018. So now it's gaining traction finally because obviously we have a new round of representatives in the House this year, and they are actually looking at. What's crazy is that they're looking at the bill because the bill establishes a commission to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans and to examine slavery and discrimination in the colonies and the United States from 1619 to the present.
Well,
There was something in there for that. Okay. 1619
Really, to the present.
and recommend appropriate remedies. So basically, they're just trying to get the government to say, yeah, we need to study this and come up with some solutions and some ideas about how we can maybe, close the gap, fix some of the sins of our forefathers. So hopefully, they'll testify and some good will come of it, and we're actually moving forward on reparations for Americans that are of African descent.
But what does this still really mean? Like when I was reading it, I was trying to figure out what are some of the things that we will get from it if it goes.
That's
Nothing.
the point.
Nothing.
The point is to figure out if there is something that can be done. Like they're not even convinced. The government's not convinced that this country owes any kind of debt to black people. This is literally just them trying to get people to admit we might need to look at this and look at the stats over centuries because it's 400 years worth of information to actually give scientific data of how black people were affected by slavery, Jim Crow, and all the other bullshit. Yeah. Like they're just trying to get them to say, hey, yeah, we need to look at this. We need some actual statistics around it, and that's how you come up with solutions. You get information, you do research, and then you develop solutions.
Right. And you're saying solutions because a lot of people are like, well, they're gonna white people are gonna be like, oh, money, all this stuff, arguing and all this, but it's like. First of all, really, realistically, nothing's going to happen. I just had a conversation with this about somebody else. Until a lot of stuff isn't going to change until the older generation, I hate to say this, but is gone. And our generation steps into these power positions, and because I think that we have more of an understanding of like what's actually going on within our communities, and that was a long drawn out conversation because the other side of that was not hearing it. But I mean, you look at it across the board with everything, and I think you say solutions like. Whether it's education, with Native Americans, that's one thing that they do. They get to go to college for free, depending on the college and schools. I think that there's so many different solutions in figuring out how to fix this country. Yeah. But I really don't think anything's in. But I'm happy that people continuously. This is the third story we talked about with someone going in and like bringing this up, and I think it just has to continue to happen until we get our people in power positions.
So we're going to go to the mail one day, we're going to have a little check because we black.
Well, see, and that's the fight. Like, everybody's like, oh, they don't get a check, they don't deserve a check. It's not even about that. It's about figuring out
we deserve a check.
Don't get me wrong, I don't want a check. I want 40 acres and a mule. Do you know how much 40 acres is worth right now?
I feel you on that.
And, like, I want my 40 acres, and I know where I want it. But regardless.
Where you want that at, Courtney?
In an area in South Georgia where I know my people are from, and we should have had that to begin with. But anyway, the whole point is that at this... the whole conversation, because you don't want to get negative and be like, nothing's going to come of this, or blah, blah. And I often go that place. But what I will say is that it is 2020 coming up, election-wise, and we have, I think that we recognize the power of the black vote in a way that we maybe didn't before.
Right.
And I think that is what's going to propel it. So obviously, like, the old white folks gonna have to die, whatever. But the power is it's already started to shift, though. I mean, that's why they're afraid of what's the name, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and whether you agree with her or not, they're afraid of her because she's not afraid to say what she really thinks. Right. And if that energy keeps going, and we all keep harnessing that energy, it's not just about waiting till they die, because we can shift power. If we recognize our own power. Right. And we just have to not...
Come on, preach on, sister.
We just can't not back down. Like, the fact that it should be in the debates. Like, we should be telling the DNC when those Democratic nominees are about to debate on television, one of the topics needs to be reparations. And how do you see that happening? And don't just sweep it under the rug. Like, and we have the power to do that. Exactly. Because they're all like, well, yeah, I'm for HR bill. I'm for studying it. But nobody wants to commit to, really get into it. And we should hold hold them accountable. We are the only people that can. Like, that's
Yeah.
the whole point of the process.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm going to shut up now.
No, it's okay, because speaking of accountability, that'd be a great segue for our next subject.
Hey.
Accountability is the subject right here, because we've been talking about Central Park 5 for a couple weeks now. Most of us have seen the miniseries When They See Us on Netflix, which brought to light a lot of the case that happened. And if you don't know, it was a case involving 5 individuals, 4 of them black, 1 Latino, who were allegedly accused of rape. And years later, after they've served a lot of time and given away a lot of their life, we find out that they actually were not the ones who did it. Well, the last week we talked about how one of the prosecutors who was involved in the case, who had written novels, there was a petition out. It was
Linda
Fairstein,
Linda Fairstein, the investigator. There was a 50,000 person petition that was signed to get her books unsold on Amazon.
Yeah.
And there was also
and out of Barnes and Noble
and out of
and
Barnes
everywhere.
and
They
Noble
were
and
trying to get
everywhere,
her side.
take them out.
Because she's made a fortune.
She made a fortune. And now we have a new prosecutor as well who is very heavily in this case. And her name is, what is her name? Elizabeth Lederer.
Yes.
And she was the lead prosecutor in the case. And she has now recently resigned from Columbia Law School over the scrutiny that she's gotten because the miniseries brought so much light to the case.
And for the record, keep calling New York because she need to resign as a prosecutor as well.
She does.
Because she's still working as a prosecutor
does.
in case y'all didn't.
And she's still talking.
And she's still talking.
Like, thinking that this whole thing is biased and crap.
Yep,
Yeah.
she's made some statements. So she said
deleted her
because
Twitter
of,
and
she deleted her
Instagram.
Twitter, and she's made statements saying because of this scrutiny that she believes that she's gotten and that she doesn't feel like she deserved that. That's why she's leaving her post. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Just think about it. 1989
riddance.
till now, she's still been
disgusting.
working as a prosecutor.
Right.
How many innocent black people or
Have been,
brown
yeah.
people have been put in jail under her watch?
Exactly.
And I remember growing up, my mom would always tell me, see, I grew up with a Hispanic Mexican mom, so she would always say, you know, I may not be going through the same thing that you're going through as a young black man, but the one advice I would give you, mijo, especially when I got my car at 18, was if you ever get put over, ever get arrested, do not sign anything, do not say you did something, even if you think you did, but you're just saying it to get out. I said, don't ever, and I never understood that until I watched this, and she was like, this is the reason, like, because I honestly, I didn't know about this story until now, which is like the power of social media. I mean, I've seen everybody talking about it, but I mean, honestly, I'm not really shocked that they got that much time because how the world treats us.
Yeah.
You know, sadly, when I watched it, I wasn't really like that shocked, but you know, just seeing all the documentaries and all the interviews that they've done with Oprah and everybody, it's been kind of healing because I feel like we're moving in the right direction, and I'm glad that directors and writers are starting to make movies and like this.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Ava because that's they said since it premiered on May 31st, it's the most watched thing
Since then,
on
I
Netflix,
mean,
and that's not just black and brown
No,
people.
I was gonna say I see white people posting about it.
That means white people are watching, and they, no
For
offense,
real.
are the ones that need to watch it because, like you said, he wasn't surprised. I certainly wasn't surprised.
I mean,
we know this happens.
Right.
It's happened to some of us. So
Right.
yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Go Ava.
And also shout out to Black Twitter because the whole thing that happened
Black
with
Twitter's the best.
Elizabeth Lederer is they blew her
They
up
blew
too.
her up.
So
That made
shout
her
out to
go
Black
off.
Twitter for
They dragged Oprah too.
They did drag Oprah.
They're like, why she
but
still
don't you
got-
talk about Oprah?
They said, why you still got that video up on your website with that white girl? I was
They
like,
did. They did.
now we came from
You
under
better leave Oprah alone. Don't you mess with my Oprah.
Mercy. It's above me now.
It's
okay.
All right, let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about our 2 guests that we have in here. Wow, we just got some microphones and volume up in here.
What's
Hey,
going
remix.
on? Were we too low? You need
Right.
to hear us better. Hey.
hit 'em high,
Whatever.
hit 'em high, hit 'em
So
high.
listen, we're gonna start with ladies first. You know,
Yes.
Liris, you've been in the game for a long time. They called you the body. That you were, you know, you and Naomi Campbell were 2 women that they compared as beauty, and you doing your thing. You have a new book coming out.
Yes.
You know, just what's been going on? What's been new?
Well, I'm really excited. My very first book is called Make the World Your Runway, Top Model Secrets for Everyday Confidence and Success. It's available on Amazon. It is basically principles that I use to prepare for the runway. I expound upon it for everyone to use it on the runway of life every day. Because there are a lot of things that models do that people say, you know, I don't necessarily want to model, but I want to look like a model, or I want to move like a model, I want to act like a model. And I talk about that in the book. But it's kind of like modeling meets life coaching meets your inspiration, motivation. I mean, it's everything in here. From your passion. I talk about your passion, your purpose, your posture. Your posture is very important when you're on the runway because it's how you stand and how you look, but your posture is also about alignment. So who are you aligned with in your life?
Yeah.
That's very important. Partnerships. Partnerships are very important in life. The reason why I'm doing so many runway shows now, working with bridal retailer Maggie Totero, is out of a partnership.
Yeah.
And I tell that story in the book.
Pick it up.
So you have to get it on Amazon. But there are so many things that people can use when they're on their runway of life, whether it's walking down the aisle at the grocery store, walking across the stage to get your diploma, walking down the aisle to meet your new wife or your new husband. Like I had a bride last week who commented that I was her inspiration on her wedding day.
Wow.
And
That's
she
gotta
was
feel
like,
good.
That felt very good. Just because she was like, you just exude so much confidence and light, and I wanted to embody that on my special day. And I just feel like people, when they read this book, they're going to leave with deepened purpose, increased confidence, probably a renewed mindset.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs that because, you know, we all go through our different things.
Absolutely.
Where, you know, we can be having a good week or even a good month or a good year. And then life hits you hard.
Word.
And I think this is the perfect book that's like that reboot that like kicks you in the pants and says, come on, girl. Come on, guy. Like, get up. You got this. You're beautiful and wonderfully made by God. You got this.
I was going to ask you that. So men, there's some information for men.
Oh, yeah. I
in that, too.
wrote the book so men can read it, and they feel like, oh, okay, she's really thinking about me, too.
Right.
Yeah, the book is for everybody.
And it says the forward is by Tim Gunn.
Yes!
That's
Thank you for
everything.
saying
That's
that.
That's amazing.
Yes, amazing. I mean, he's like a fashion fairy godfather, you know? It was amazing because I was on Project Runway. I became one of the first plus models to win the model portion.
You were groundbreaking.
Thank you. Season 16, they're airing season 17 right now. But just the relationship that I was able to gain with him after the show has just been amazing. I damn near cried when he said he would write the foreword to my book. But then when I read what he wrote, this is why you got to get the book.
Yeah.
When I read what he wrote, it really touched my heart because someone who's been in the game as long as he has, to say, you know, me and Liris had this conversation and she changed my outlook on this and she did this and she did that. I was just like, okay, girl, brush your shoulder off. You did that. So, I mean, I'm thankful to Tim Gunn. I'm thankful to Project Runway. I'm thankful to God, truly, for just blessing me, allowing me this opportunity to shine and to help other people shine. I think that's really, really important because when I'm able to help someone else live their best life, what? You know, it's like the little Duval song, I'm living my best life. Yeah, I think like all of us, we should be like totally walking in our purpose and happy and, you know, I want the best for people, and I think
that's the
everyone,
energy you exude too.
Yeah, I really do, and so I feel like when they read this book, they're gonna be like, "That's my girl. She really wants the best of me, and I'm about to go out here and get it." Yeah, so that's what I want. So please go to Amazon.com. Or wherever you're watching across the country, the Amazon for your site, because you don't want that shipping to get you.
It'd be more than the book sometimes.
Okay,
more
exactly.
than the book.
Exactly. So please go to Amazon, order a copy of your book. And actually this Saturday, if you are watching and you're here in Los Angeles, I will be having a book signing at the Plus Bus Boutique. The Plus Bus Boutique is in Glendale, California. You can check my Instagram at Lirisc, Lirisc, and you can get all the information there. Click the link in my bio. It has the information so you can RSVP, or if you just want to order the book, you can click the link in my bio on Instagram as well.
Congratulations.
Yay. Thank you so much.
I want to ask you a quick question before we move on to Princeton, but you mentioned something about everyone wants to look like a model, and a lot of people do. What do you feel about these Instagram models who call themselves themselves models, you know, we have filters, we have all these great positioning, you know what I mean? Like, they can manipulate the situation where when you were modeling and how you changed the game was by being physically who you are, and there was no filters or things like that. I mean, sure, you can't help what the magazines do with changing certain things and that, but how do you feel about these models right now who call themselves models that are like, okay, are you really a model?
Well, there are different types of models. You know, not everyone is a fashion model, not everyone is a runway model.
Right.
I mean, we are in a new day and age. So there are quote unquote Instagram models, and they have their lane. But I'm gonna go reign in my lane of fashion and print and runway, and you know, I'm gonna do the things that I do. But I'm not gonna slight them for what they do.
I feel
And
that.
they can read her book, and
They
that
can
way
read
they
her book
can
and get
learn
some
how to
knowledge.
walk
They can
in their
level.
runway.
They can level up and read
She
the
said,
book
level
too.
up.
Yes.
How would you
Yes.
say the flow of body positivity is now with fashion? I mean, we see recently, you know, a lot of people were complaining with what plus size actually is and almost being offended by what plus size is.
I'm glad you said
Nike
that.
just came out with their first mannequin for plus size women. How would you say that's kind of shifted now in 2019?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. When the revolution is happening, you're gonna get a lot of people who are gonna hem and haw about it.
Yeah.
But it has to happen, and you kind of have to have this public outcry. And I'm okay with that, as long as the change is happening. Because guess what? You can say all the stuff that you want to say about the mannequins that Nike put out, but guess what? The mannequins are there, and they're not going anywhere.
Right.
Deal with it. I'll say the body confidence movement is definitely bleeding into fashion. And I do have to say that body confidence, to me, is a byproduct of fashion. It's not fashion. And I think a lot of people get that confused. Models are models for a certain reason. Do you sometimes get body confidence off of seeing your favorite celeb or your favorite model? Yes, you do, but that's a byproduct of modeling. But their main goal is to sell clothes, to make money. And I think a lot of people forget about that. They're in the business of making money. So if they think that they need to tap into some of your body confidence stuff, they're going to do that if it's going to help them sell clothes.
I feel that.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we're seeing changes like that, because it's funny to me. We complain about a plus size mannequin for workout clothes, but then you'll be the same people who are complaining, oh my gosh, she's so fat.
She don't work
Oh my
out.
gosh, she doesn't work out.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's like, first of all, everybody is not the same size.
That's true.
And we're not supposed to be the same cookie cutter. Because if that's the case, I mean, just think about it. If everybody looked like me in this room, I think it would be a boring world. Personally, I think I'm cute for sure. But that's the beauty of variety. We need to see tall, short, black, white, freckles, you know.
A variation.
Yeah, tightly coiled, curly hair, super straight, shiny hair. You know, like, we need those differences, because literally that's what makes the world the runway.
That's true.
How we color the world, how we show up. It's all very important. So once we start to get out of our heads that, you know, everybody's supposed to look like how they looked in high school or look like the same way, I think that's when we're going to really grow.
Yeah.
And as far as your other question about plus size being only one size, I actually had to have a conversation with a lady on Instagram this week, because she was kind of like, one of the companies that I work with, they posted a picture of a real woman, not a model, on her wedding day, and they said, you know, oh, shout out to our curvy bride, this curvy bride, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, curvy bride? That's laughable. And I said, why is it that you think that curvy has to only mean morbidly obese?
Right. Yeah.
Why do you think that plus size or curvy has to mean they have to have this amount of rolls and they have to have cellulite and they have to have this and that? No, because guess what? That same person, whether it's me, I wear a 14, sometimes 16, right? I'm tall, so a lot of people they're like, you're not really plus. And I'm like, okay, come shopping with me.
Yeah. Right.
For what they're making.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
I go, like, I posted a video on my Instagram, and I'm trying on pants at, like, a Zara and a H&M.
Girl.
And people are like, literally, it came up to my knee. Because it's European cut, because it's a European retailer. And I'm like, this is the thing you guys don't realize. You're like, oh, well, you're more hourglassy, so you can just go to the store and pick up something. Okay, I went to the H&M that everybody goes to, and what did I leave out of there with? 2 hats.
Wow.
Yeah.
So please don't try to tell people their experience. Plus size is, plus size starts for some companies, they started at 12, some started at 14. But plus is beautiful no matter what size you are.
Everybody is beautiful no matter what size.
Yes.
And looking like a model over here, we have Princeton
I
Perez.
know.
Look like he's straight from an ad.
Miami
I
swag.
know.
You know what I'm saying?
He got the model hair.
He got the model hair, you know what I'm saying?
The glasses, the outfit.
Outfit.
You doing big things yourself,
that
man.
glowing skin, like you've been sun-kissed
That's
and
right.
whatnot.
How you like being that solo artist compared to being in a group?
It's different, man. It's very different. I mean, I joined Mindless when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. I moved out of my house when I was like 10 years old.
Wow.
Did you understand at that time, like, the magnitude of what
you
was
were
happening?
doing.
Because you guys were
understand.
huge.
Yeah, I didn't really understand what I was getting into, but I knew that I wanted to be a star. Like, at 10 years old, and I was really looking at everybody in 6th grade like, this is what y'all want to do for the rest of your life? I got a career to chase. But, at 10, you don't really know what you want,
right.
but I knew exactly what I wanted. So it's different, man. When you're in a group, you have 3 other dudes to depend on, and it's just me. And, I mean, the recording process has been crazy because, personally, me, I love to tour. Like being an artist.
That's your thing?
That's my favorite part.
Is it the energy of the people
yeah,
that you love the most?
I like being on the tour bus. I like traveling. I like going to different cities. Like, that's my thing. Some artists like the recording process. Me, I was in there every day. Like, I have to do everything by myself. Like backgrounds, harmonies. I was like, dang, I really took advantage of being in a group. But it's very different.
You were like, what did I sign up for?
Man, I'm like, dang, like if I mess up, it's just me. Like I can't blame it on anybody else.
Yeah, it's a pro and a con. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. But I love it though. I mean, I'm 23 now, so I gotta grow up.
What kind of developed like what you wanted your sound to be, like inspiration-wise and all of that as a solo artist?
I mean, that's probably why it took me so long to put a song out, was because when I first started, I thought I wanted to make like vibey, I was listening to Sade. I wanted that. And the next week, I was like listening to Mark Anthony, and I was like, you know what? I'm making Hispanic reggaeton music. And then the next, it's like I really didn't know what I wanted to make, but then my heart kept going towards R&B, man. I mean, my favorite artist is Usher, and I was like, Usher, Tank, Chris Brown. I mean, Bobby Brown.
Oh, you took it back.
I took it
Don't
back.
be cruel.
Like
Man.
you brought the
Some
legends,
Ronnie
and then you brought them up before. You said
Right.
Tink, Bobby Brown.
Man, so
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. So once I found my sound, I started knocking out records like it was nothing.
Do you feel like you have something to prove? With this solo project, a lot of times with groups, you go through this kind of feeling of, like
Yeah.
you said, you don't have anyone to depend
team,
on
yeah.
other than
Oh,
yourself.
for sure.
And so, kind of like, okay, I gotta make sure like I'm creating my runway for my lane.
Man, I have a lot to prove. Probably more than I probably put more on myself than I really like have to prove. But I mean, I've been in the music industry my whole 10 years.
Yeah.
And we were
That's a
pretty
lot. I
big.
mean,
That's a lot, man.
So
I can't imagine.
I just want to prove to people, one, that I could be taken serious as an artist. And just, I think my music would speak for itself. At first, when I was hitting up producers and stuff and I was asking for beats, they just went off of Mindless Spirit. So they were sending me like teen type of music.
Yeah.
So I was like, you guys don't get it.
I'm
I'm
grown.
22.
Right.
I'm a grown ass man.
Right.
But they're looking at me like, come on. So I think my music is gonna speak for itself. My music is gonna let people know, like, all right, he didn't come to mess around.
Well,
And
it's
I know-
good.
go ahead.
It's good you took the time in between too to kind of settle, because
Figure out who you
someone
were.
like, you look at Ariana Grande. We were so used to Nickelodeon, and then
Right.
she puts an album out, and it's hard for us to kind of
For sure.
transfer
That
that mindset.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's actually a woman. I'm
Right.
not looking at
Yeah.
this girl anymore. So,
See, but my thing was, I told my team, I said, instead of rushing to put a project out, I said, when you're in high school, right, and you graduate, you have that gap year before you go to college. I said, let me have my gap year. Let me actually go to like a club, and I had never been to a club before. Let me get my license. I did a bunch of things that I never did. I went to my first football game. I went to 3 proms.
Yeah.
I love that.
He said 3 proms.
I went to my first one and I was like, you know what, I can get used to this. So I went to 3 prom and I was like,
There's a movie there.
It was
Right.
Prom crashing.
I was like, let me just have my gap year and just live life. And then once I had that gap year, I was like, all right, let's go. And now I'm like in college right now, in my way.
And that'll help your music too. You gotta live life to have something to sing about. You know?
Yeah, you gotta have some real stuff to talk about. You know,
right?
That you've actually experienced, yes.
I've experienced some stuff, man. I've been cheated on. I cheated on.
What?
You cheated.
I kind of cheated once.
Once.
But it came out.
Look.
That's how you got
it. Okay.
But I'm going to send her your book so she can find her confidence.
Score!
She may be hurt, but once she reads this, she'll be walking her own runaway.
Well, we got to wrap soon, but I know you had a single that came out in April, and then you have some more music.
No, it comes out tomorrow. Perfect World. It comes out tomorrow. It was coming out in April.
Okay.
But it comes out tomorrow. Perfect World. I'm excited. It's my first single. It's been crazy. It dropped on Tidal yesterday exclusively. And, yeah, it drops tomorrow.
And then what would you say that the sound is for people who are going to go download it?
It's like real R&B, good film music that you can either play in the club or you can play at a cookout. Like medium.
I like both of those,
or in the whip at night. You know, it's just good music.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And look, we're in need of that apparently, especially since Jesse talked about the song at the top of the show. So where can fans find out more about your music on social media and all that fun stuff?
Just Princeton Perez, man. PrincetonPerez.com. Princeton Perez on all my social media. I'm excited for the fans.
You got to come back and do a little song for us here.
I'm down.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm down. I have to have you in one of my music videos.
I was going to say, I saw collaboration here. Do a little ad, you know what I'm saying? I can see it.
Let's do this.
I see it.
I mean, look, you guys bounce off each other real well. You knew that.
Look, you got the summertime closing memo.
Coordinated already.
Right, you coordinated.
They both look like they was off on a yacht.
Okay.
She's like, okay.
Me and Bae. Or like that other Instagram account, me and somebody's son.
Yeah. Where can fans find you, Liris?
Please follow me on Instagram at Liris C, Lirisc. You can follow me on Twitter at the same one, Lirisc, and on Facebook under Liris Cross.
And they can buy that book on Amazon.
You can buy the book on Amazon.
Tell us the title one more time. Tell us the title.
Make the World Your Runway. If you want a signed copy, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to you, but you can go to my website, which is lirisc.com, Lirisc.com.
Yeah.
Courtney?
I'm like, wait, what?
You gonna sell your book?
I don't have a book.
She
I'm
will.
on film though. But I am all over the social media universe at Stuart Starlet.
You guys can hit me up everywhere at DJ Jesse J, and also over on AfterBuzz. We're starting AfterBuzz tonight.
All right, we love it. And you can catch me on Black Hannibal Live, obviously, all over the social medias, and on CBS's This Is LA on Saturdays and Sundays at 3:30. All right, so thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for having
me.
Come back.
This was
Come
fun.
back. I want to borrow some of that hair. Let me, cut it off. Let me just make myself a
I
little
still
wig.
have pieces
Not
of
the
my
hair.
afro. I can't let go.
I'm looking at that. Was that a watch you got on there?
I saw the watch,
Was that
too.
a
This
bracelet?
is something.
You know, they can make you one of those
But it's
wigs,
still-
one of those
Yeah.
units
Right.
for the guys.
Right. Oh, that's true. You're right. Listen, you got plenty of it, man. You can spare some.
Get him a Princeton unit.
Right, you can and I'm put a little curl right here, just right here in the front.
That's all you need.
Oh, thank y'all for joining us.
Thank y'all for joining us. We're going to see y'all next week.
Princeton came out of him.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.